I've travelled to the heart of Scotland, to the Cairngorms, and now I'm surrounded by pristine wilderness and snow-capped mountains. This is a place where wolves once roamed. There are no wolves here anymore, but one dog that does have a lot of similar characteristics to the wolf is the husky. But they're not a vicious hunter, they're man's best friend. Alan Stewart and his family live within the Cairngorm National Park. They run 36 sled dogs that sleep in old whisky barrels behind the cottage, and they also give winter tours to the public.
The type of dogs that I have, I can track all the way back to the Klondike, and that's where my sport started, back in the gold rush in the early 1900s.
Sled dogs have been raced in competitions since 1908, when a Scotsman, Alex Scotty Allen, started the All-Alaska Sweepstakes. Alan, tell me about the dogs. Is it mainly huskies you use?
Yeah, I use Alaskan huskies, and I have pointer cross huskies as well, and a few Siberians.
And how well suited is the husky to the job then?
The Alaskan husky is the best dog is for the job for what we do, and also a combination of racing as well. A fantastic endurance animal, it really is, quite special.
They can survive in really cold conditions, can't they?
Yes, but we look after them like in really cold weather. We put boots on the dogs to keep the sweat pore open, and we put jackets when it becomes very, very cold. We don't really have dogs with big furry coats because they can overheat quite quickly.
Alan takes the dogs out training with a big buggy, and with me on board, this is an even better workout for the huskies. It's just fantastic, controlling 12 dogs, looking at all the leashes, controlling their speed. They've got an incredible stamina. Alan Stewart is conditioning his dogs to take part in major rallies in Norway and the Alps. This is just absolutely brilliant, going along these paths, passing red deer, stags, and out in the wilderness. Whoa! Whoa! Okay, This is just the start of my sled dog adventure. Alan travels abroad to race his dogs in the big international competitions. The nearby Aviemore rally in Scotland used to take place on sleds, but they haven't had snow for over 10 years, and so the sport has been developed on wheels. The annual event takes place on a designated cross-country ski course, although there's little snow to start with. Between 2 and 8 dogs will run at speeds of up to 25 miles an hour around this 4-mile course that takes in Loch Morlich. The teams of dogs arrive in adapted vans for a racing holiday every January. Attracting 3,000 spectators, the event brings up to £250,000 to the local economy. Judy Wacker of the Siberian Husky Club is one of the event organisers. Judy, how long has this event been going for?
Well, this is the 24th year, so it started in 1984, so next year we've got our 25th anniversary.
And how have things moved on over the years?
Well, the first year, 1984, there was 12 teams, and we've got approaching 200 this year.
What's it like looking after all these people?
And there's a team of us, there must be about 10 or 12 helpers. It's really the committee that run it, and then everyone has to chip in. And one of the things is everybody has a job to do here.
And if you want to get into the sport, how do you get hold of a dog?
If you want to actually race your sled dogs and work them, is to go to rallies, to actually talk to the people that have got them. Decide what you want. Do you want a Siberian or a Malamute or a Samoyed? And then go to the breed clubs. What I should say is you really need to do your homework before you actually take a sled dog, because they're working dogs, so they're full of energy, full of life, and you need to be able to give them the right home. You must be able to exercise them.
The dogs are desperate to run and they're really straining at the leash. The mushers need plenty of helpers to hang on to them so they don't just take off down the course.
Hold on! Good side, Chief, smile! Come on, Chief! Come on, go! Go.
Tell me, what breed are these?
These are Samoyeds. So,
how do they compare to the Alaskan Husky?
well, it's mixed breeds, but they're generally a bit slower in terms of speed, but they're good for endurance and they've got a double coat. So they were sort of used with Scotty Antarctic, so they're very, very good at very low temperatures. Which is rather good, so.
Yeah, I was going to say, how do they cope in weather conditions like today?
You just got to be careful with them. I mean, they're fine. The problem is they want to go more and more and more, and that's overheat. Because of the double coats, they need it to swear that.
He took it all in my hand there.
It's not just the dogs who get a workout. Even the mushers had to give some of the dogs a helping hand up the final hill. It's time I had a go. Dave Hemmings agreed to show me how it's done.
And tell me about the sport then. What are the different rigs here called?
But obviously in this country we don't get much snow in the UK generally, so we use wheeled rigs in this country. But of course we have got the sled, because he's a well-trained dog, so they do it all the time. All you got to do is just give it a tap. That's it, just step in.
Oh dear, I'm not
That's
really.
it, good girl. Good girl. Never let go.
And what happens if you let go? They just run?
They just run. They will go without the sled away at 30 mile an hour, and you'll see the dog disappearing in the distance.
So if you're going along and you spill off the back, then they just keep going?
Yes.
Tell me the driving instructions then.
Wall for stop. When you say wall, put the brakes on deliberately, and hopefully you'll come to a halt eventually. Right? Turn left is haw.
Yeah.
To turn right is G.
Hey!
Icon! Good dogs!
That's absolutely fantastic. That's so exhilarating. Man's best friend going at a hell of a speed. Just wonderful fun.
The Shaw family are all sled dog devotees, and with 20 dogs and 2 vans, it's a lot of work.
When they're away from home, they bring all the dogs with them. So they've got the puppies, the old dogs, and then the racing dogs as well.
Yeah, pups. Yeah, pups. Yeah,
They're all being prepared for the final challenge.
3, 2,
The snow starts to fall as Kaylee Shaw and the juniors speed around the woodland circuit. With ice on the track, the course can get treacherous.
How are you feeling about it, Kaylee?
as long as she comes in one piece, that's the main thing.
Well done, Kaylee! How was that then, Kaylee? How'd you get on?
Yeah, it's good. Is it fast? It went really fast. There's a big hill towards the end.
What do you reckon, Grandma?
Yes, I have you. You're 30 seconds faster than
What a good little dog.
Soon, Kaylee's mum, Carrie, is on the adult start line.
How many dogs are you running?
4. I've dropped 2 today, so
And why is that?
I'm not as brave as I thought I was going to be.
How are the nerves?
Nervous.
Good luck.
Thank you.
The wardens mark the route and help out if the dogs get in a tangle.
Come on! Good boys.
You got 4 dogs there, all working in harmony. We didn't have a tangle. We didn't have any incidents. Good run.
And now they just get a bit of water to.
They get a little bit of electrolyte and water now.
A bit like athletes, really.
They are the athletes. It's not me. Look at me. I'm not an athlete.
It's been great up here in Aviemore, and the experience of having a go with these sled dogs has been fantastic. But I reckon a team of 8 dogs in deep snow would be a real experience. I've got a bit more training to do though. Maybe one day. These dogs are really shifty. This is fantastic, really exhilarating.